Hi, this is an overview of the Canon EF 15mm fisheye lens, and this lens is a lot of fun to take pictures with. And here it is up close. Okay, so the first thing to point out is, well, there's not really many bells and whistles with this one. There's no USM motor, there's no image stabilization either, for example. You do get your standard autofocus manual focus switch, and you've got your focusing ring here around the edge of the lens, and you've got your little readout panel at the top. The lens itself only weighs 330 grams, so it's nice and light, easy to carry around with you. The aperture range goes down to f2.8, which is very good indeed. One thing to point out though, that as it's a fisheye lens, the actual lens itself is pretty massive and it's slightly curved, as you can see, you might be able to detect here. Now, the problem with this is the lens cap. I find with this lens, the lens cap doesn't really clip into place, for example, and it slides on and off pretty easily. And I've noticed it a couple of times when I've got it in my kit bag that the actual lens cap comes off, so that's something to be aware of with this lens. Now, this is a fixed focal length or prime lens. Now, fixed focal length lenses can have some advantages, namely they can often be slightly quicker than the zoom alternatives, and also, particularly with the Canon lenses, a fixed focal length lens can often be sharper in terms of image quality. So here I've got the Canon 15mm fisheye lens attached to a Canon 20D digital camera. The Canon 20D is a cropped sensor camera as opposed to a full frame, and I'll shortly talk about the difference between the two. But in terms of focusing with this lens, it's pretty quick, but it's also a bit noisy. So it typically finds its target without too much trouble at all, really. And as is often the case with fixed focal length and prime lenses, they can often be slightly quicker than the zoom lenses. So what does a fisheye lens do? Well, basically it distorts the extremities of the picture to make it look and feel a lot more circular, and you can take some pretty cool pictures with a fisheye lens. It's worth pointing out that the fisheye effect will be greater on a full frame digital camera as opposed to a crop sensor digital camera. So a full frame such as the Canon 5D or the 1DS, for example, you're going to see a greater effect. The reason for that being, with a full frame camera you're taking the entirety of what you're seeing through the viewfinder. With a cropped sensor camera such as the 20D, you're not. It's cutting out the extremities of the picture when it records onto the camera. So you're going to miss out on the extremities of the fisheye effect on a cropped sensor camera. It's not to say that the effect's not going to work at all. You're still going to see the fisheye effect if you use a crop sensor camera, but it's not going to be as great as if you had it on a full frame. Now, to show you some examples of photos taken with the 15mm fisheye lens, we have a few here. Now, these pictures were taken with a cropped sensor camera, but even so, you can still see the fisheye effect taking place. And with this picture here, you can see the edges of the picture are moving towards the horizontal of the frame. We have another picture here with the same effect going on. Pictures taken with this lens are typically very sharp and clear, good coloration. We have another picture here. I find that the fisheye lens is particularly good when you're taking pictures where there's a large amount of sky in the scene, or if the scene you're trying to take a picture of already has a circular element to it. So for example, if you're taking a picture of a bend in a road, the fisheye lens will magnify that distortion, the bend, and it will make a very impressive photo. Here's another example picture. As you can see, the edges of the picture are kind of bending towards the horizontal, makes it look like you're taking a picture very, very high up and you're getting the curvature of the earth. Now, to show you some examples of photos taken with a full frame camera, we have a couple here. These were taken with a Canon 5D. And as you can see, the extremities of the image are bending even further and you're getting even more of a fisheye effect. In terms of price, the Canon 15mm fisheye lens is not particularly cheap. To buy it brand new, you're typically talking around about £600 to buy it. Now you can buy it second-hand or refurbished, and the second-hand price typically ranges between £350 and £550. I bought this one myself a few years ago for £350 second-hand, but if you buy it second-hand, you're going to be taking a risk with the actual condition of the lens itself. There are a couple of other fisheye lenses to point out as well. There's the Canon 8 to 15mm fisheye. So that's a zoom lens. It's also an L grade lens, so it's going to be better image quality. But it's worth pointing out that the aperture range only goes down to f4 as opposed to f2.8 on the 15mm. Sigma also produce a number of fisheye lenses ranging from 15mm all the way down to 4.5mm, which is a very, very wide angle lens. And in terms of price, they're generally slightly cheaper than the Canon alternatives. So that's the Canon 15mm fisheye lens. In conclusion, it's not particularly cheap, but it's a lot of fun. I've had the 15mm for a couple of years now, and I take it with me a lot. Actually, I take lots of pictures with it, and it's very versatile. You can use it in lots of different situations. The pictures taken with the 15mm are typically sharp and clear. It focuses pretty quickly as well. It's a bit noisy, but I don't think that's really much of a problem. And I think it's a lens that you'll enjoy using. Hope you've enjoyed this overview, and if you'd like to check out some more reviews, you can go onto my YouTube channel, which is SLR Lens. Thanks.